You know, in college you come to the field at about 4 for a 7 o'clock game, and here we get to the field about noon, so that's the biggest difference.
You look at things when the New York Yankees drafted you, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Obviously it's a dream come true. You know, I grew up watching them just because my uncle played for them. So yeah, I mean, a lot of emotions, but I got a text from Uncle Paul, and it kind of all hit me at once. So I would say dream come true for sure.
How much did that play into it? The fact that you used to go to his games, you'd see him in pinstripes, and now you're a guy wearing pinstripes.
Yeah, definitely. I got drafted by him out of high school, and you know, the odds of them redrafting you 3 years later are kind of slim. So I was glad to get the opportunity to get redrafted by him.
You mentioned that 42nd round in 2010. For them to go after you a second time, what does that mean to you, the fact that they still had you on their radar?
Yeah, well, obviously they believe in me as a player. So, you know, I'll represent the organization as best I can and hopefully represent it as well as my uncle did.
For more on Michael O'Neill and other topics, we want to bring in Meredith now for today's edition of Runs, Hits, and Errors. And Meredith, you know, having that last name can be both a blessing and a curse. People have to put aside what Paul O'Neill did for this team, the Warrior as he's known by Yankee fans. You know, they have to put that aside and let Michael be his own person.
Chris, there's no question about it. And you know what? It's interesting. Paul actually gave him some advice saying, don't try to be anyone else out there. Be yourself. Play within yourself, and you'll be okay. And Paul has said he's worked with him over the years. Only when Michael has come to him to talk a little bit about hitting, a little bit about other things and what to expect. And he said he's always will be there for him and always was there for him. But it's only if Michael wants the advice. So Paul's not really trying to overstep his boundaries by any means. But he did actually have the opportunity on the off day to check out his nephew playing with the Stanton Yankees, which I know the entire O'Neill family is very proud of him. But the interesting thing that Paul said, hey, I came here and thought he was going to be wearing number 21. He's wearing number 39. What's that all about? And Michael will be the first to tell you that, hey, I'm trying to be my own person out there. Obviously, I know what my uncle was able to accomplish. I was there for some of them. He cited the 2001 World Series, hearing everyone cheer Paul O'Neill's name in the stands, and that's obviously a big moment that he remembers from growing up, and he used to be around the field and around the team at Yankee Stadium. But it isn't about that for him. It's now trying to do his own thing, go on his own way, kind of create his own path. So time will tell what's exactly in store for Michael O'Neill. I can tell you this, they're a little different players. Paul admittedly saying he is much faster than me out there. He's playing center field right now. He's a right-handed bat. Didn't have quite as much power as Paul O'Neill had, at least not yet. But he's a guy that's certainly on his way. Just 7 games in the minors so far, trying to adjust to life as a professional ball player.
Now, Meredith, great news for the O'Neill family, obviously, but the Yankees family dealt some more bad news today. Mark Teixeira, of course, lost for the season.
Yes, and I think this was something since he was injured in the WBC where they were certainly hoping for the best but fearing the worst, and he obviously tried to make that comeback. But I think it was extremely telling when he had the cortisone shot last Sunday, and he still felt some soreness in this wrist. I think after that, everybody kind of expected that the next step for Mark Teixeira might be surgery. So they made it official today. Mark Teixeira obviously very disappointed that he's not going to be able to rejoin this team this season. So he'll have surgery sometime next week. Then it'll be about 4 to 5 months of rest and rehab after that. He said it'll take about 6 months for him to be 100%. So he'll certainly be a player for the Yankees next year. And Mark Teixeira really emphasizing the fact that this isn't a degenerative thing. This is something where you get it fixed, it's okay, and you can move forward. So he's not worried about being a long-term issue. It's just a this year kind of issue.
All right, Meredith, and we have to send our happy birthday wishes out to the captain of the Yankees, Derek Jeter. And he had a little surprise when he showed up at the complex in Tampa, didn't he?
It was interesting. People standing outside with cards, with balloons, the whole 9 yards to celebrate the fact that Derek Jeter is 39 years young today. I don't know. Do you get that type of reception on your birthday, Chris?
I'm lucky if I get a card from my mother, let's be honest.
Well, it's clear. I mean, people obviously love Derek Jeter, and anytime there's any information on him as far as the rehab process, people are curious to know. He's a guy that's certainly an icon here in New York. So he took it down there to Tampa. People obviously know that he's there. So they wanted to make sure that the captain had a nice birthday.
August 9th, I better get a text. That's all I'm saying, Meredith.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. We'll hear from you again in just a bit on the pregame show with Sarah and Kenny. We appreciate it.
Sounds good, Chris. We have a lot of great stuff coming up on it. We'll have more on Mark Teixeira, also some of the guys rehabbing like Michael Pineda. We'll have more from Michael and Paul O'Neill, and also we'll talk a little bit about the Alex Rodriguez, Brian Cashman situation.